plants deserve more than a chemical diet. Give them the natural power of nature's living soil, packed with organic amendments and living microbes that feed the soil and fuel growth from the roots up. Stronger plants, bigger yields, better results. Shop natureslivingsoil.com and use code WWPGEN10 to get 10% off today. Nature's Living Soil. Feed the soil. Watch life flourish.
Good day, and welcome to WWP Genetics. We're thrilled that you have joined us for another engaging and educational video. Today, I will be discussing why cannabis is replacing alcohol for many people. For decades, alcohol was the default social lubricant. Birthdays, celebrations, weekends, networking events, drinking was woven into the fabric of social life. It wasn't questioned, it was expected. But something has been changing. Across cities, campuses, and social spaces, more people are quietly stepping away from alcohol. Bars feel different, parties feel different. Even the way people unwind at home feels different. Instead of a beer, a cocktail, or a glass of wine, many people today are choosing cannabis or skipping alcohol altogether. This isn't a loud rebellion or a sudden trend. It's a gradual cultural shift happening in plain sight, and it raises a bigger question. Why is alcohol losing its grip on social life, and what's taking its place? Surveys show that nowadays, people prefer cannabis to alcohol. For some, it's not just a preference, it's a replacement. Drinking is out, cannabis is in. To understand this shift, we have to start with alcohol's dominance. Alcohol wasn't just a drink, it was a ritual, a symbol of adulthood, freedom, and celebration. Entire industries, traditions, and social norms were built around it. Drinking meant bonding, it meant letting loose, it meant being part of a group. But that dominance also came with consequences that were long accepted as normal. People had hangovers, regret, and there was loss in productivity, and health concerns that were often brushed aside. For years, the downsides were tolerated because there were few mainstream alternatives. But that's no longer the case. Health awareness plays a huge role. Alcohol is linked to long term health risks, while cannabis is not risk free. It is often seen as easier to manage. Today, people are far more aware of how substances affect their bodies and minds. Conversations about mental health, sleep, anxiety, and balance are no longer niche, they're mainstream. Alcohol's effects are all documented: dehydration, disrupted sleep, mood swings, and long term health risks. For many people, those costs are no longer acceptable. Cannabis, by comparison, is often perceived as easier to manage. Cannabis is not harmless, but different. Some see it as something that doesn't leave them feeling physically drained or emotionally off the next day. This doesn't mean cannabis is risk free. Research is ongoing and experiences vary, but perception matters. And for many, alcohol reputation has taken a hit. Legalization has changed everything. In many states, recreational cannabis is now legal or decriminalized. That shift has made cannabis more accessible, less stigmatized, and more socially acceptable. Laws shape culture, and few things demonstrate that better than cannabis legalization. As cannabis became legal or decriminalized in many regions, it moved out of the shadows and into the norm. What was once hidden became regulated, discussed, and normalized. With that shift came a massive change in perception. Cannabis stopped being viewed as solely as rebellious or dangerous and started being seen more as a lifestyle choice, similar to alcohol, but without decades of normalized harm. At the same time, alcohol never had to evolve. Its harms and risks remained constant, but public awareness of those risks grew louder and louder. There is also a practical side to this shift, and that is simply the cost of everything. A night out drinking can be expensive. You have to pay for drinks, tips, rides, food, and the next day's consequences. For people already dealing with rising living costs, that adds up quickly. Alcohol often requires committing to an entire evening and an entire recovery period. Alternatives feel more flexible, staying in, socializing without spending heavily, waking up without feeling drained. In a world where time, energy, and money are limited, those differences matter more than ever. The culture has shifted. Social media influencers present cannabis as part of a lifestyle. It's about relaxing, wellness, and personal choice. This contrasts with the old party hard drinking culture. Online, people share what they enjoy and what they avoid, and why. Drinking culture, once glorified, is now openly questioned. Meanwhile, cannabis is often framed around relaxation, creativity, or personal boundaries, not excess. The message isn't escape, but control. That framing resonates with people who value autonomy, balance, and self expression over losing control. Social approval has changed, and with it, behavior. Alcohol itself hasn't changed, but the relationship with it has. Many people are simply drinking less, not because they're more focused, but because they simply don't want to drink. Binge drinking is less appealing, daily drinking feels outdated, and avoiding alcohol altogether is no longer socially isolating. In many spaces, it's respected. That alone signals a cultural turning point. Cannabis comes in many different forms, like edibles, THC beverages, and oils, and that fits modern day lifestyles. Mental awareness also plays a role. Many people see cannabis as a way to unwind without alcohol's emotional swings. The emphasis is often on moderation and personal wants, not intensity. That sense of choice stands in contrast to alcohol's more uniform experience. For people seeking calm rather than chaos, that difference is meaningful. Socializing itself has changed. Virtual hangouts, busy schedules, and new priorities mean alcohol isn't always the centerpiece. Cannabis, coffee, or alcohol free drinks often take its place. Modern life is stressful. Burnout, anxiety, and constant pressure are openly discussed now, and many people are searching for ways to unwind without intensifying those feelings. Alcohol is known to amplify emotional swings. For some, that makes it less appealing. Cannabis is sometimes seen as a calmer option, although not without its own risk. What matters is intention. People want relief, not regret. The shift from alcohol to cannabis isn't about trends or rebellion, it's about values, health, control, balance, and awareness. People today are questioning habits that once felt untouchable and choosing alternatives that better align with how they live and want to live. Alcohol isn't disappearing, but it's no longer the unquestioned centerpiece of social life. And that change tells us something bigger. Culture evolves, and so do the ways we connect, unwind, and define enjoyment and health. We hope you found today's video educational. Don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, and share to stay updated on our latest content. For more exciting insights, be sure to check out our brother channel at WWP Logistics. See you in the next video.